tension that is constantly evolving. Every character is on a journey, but none of them are traveling in isolation. Cami's breaking point is central not just because of what she does individually, but because of how her actions amplify or destabilize every other storyline. The suspense comes from knowing that any moment could be the tipping point. The audience is left asking, will she act destructively? Will she seek reconciliation? Or will she forge a path that nobody saw coming? And the uncertainty of the answer is exactly what keeps viewers invested. Season 3 isn't about predictable resolutions. It's about the emotional and strategic chaos that emerges when high stakes meet human fragility. With Cami right at the center of it all, while Cami stands at the edge of her breaking point. Tommy's trajectory in Season 3 is equally compelling but fraught with hidden dangers. His new company may seem like a clean slate, a chance to rebuild and move forward after the chaos of MTEX. But starting fresh exposes vulnerabilities that were never an issue when he had the weight and protection of the larger corporate structure behind him. Every decision now carries more risk, every alliance is tested, and every misstep can have immediate, devastating consequences. And while Tommy is as calculated as ever, the presence of someone like Cami, unpredictable, emotional, and deeply affected by loss, creates a tension that even the most meticulous strategy cannot fully account for. Season 3 positions her as the catalyst, the variable that can either destabilize his progress or, paradoxically, push him toward solutions he wouldn't have otherwise considered. It's a delicate balance of trust, ambition, and vulnerability, and the audience is forced to watch closely, knowing that even a single emotional reaction from Cami could change the entire trajectory of the story. The intrigue deepens because Cami's breaking point is not isolated, it has cascading effects on everyone around her. Nate, Rebecca, Cooper, and Ariana are all enmeshed in the unfolding drama, and their own paths are shaped by how Cami reacts to the shifting dynamics of power, loyalty, and unresolved grief. Nate, who has always been the financial anchor, now has to navigate not just numbers and deals, but also the emotional volatility of those around him. Rebecca, managing operations and legal matters, finds herself in a position where she must anticipate disruptions that are not just corporate but deeply personal. And then there's Cooper and Ariana, whose relationship, while appearing stable, is under the shadow of lingering threats and past trauma. Their personal milestones, like weddings or reconciliations, are complicated by the undercurrent of uncertainty that Cami's actions introduce. Every character is caught in a web where personal and professional stakes collide. And Season 3 uses that collision to ratchet up suspense, making it clear that nobody can predict the outcome until Cami decides to act or react. Cami's internal struggle is just as thrilling as the external conflicts surrounding her. She's been pushed to the edge by grief, loss, and betrayal. And the psychological toll of all this tension cannot be overstated. This season, the show emphasizes her emotional journey as much as the business drama, showing how a single breaking point can alter relationships, power dynamics, and the overall narrative. Her decisions are not just impulsive, they are weighted with history, context, and the pressure of past failures. That's why viewers are on edge. Every glance, every interaction, every choice she makes carries the potential for explosive consequences. Season 3 doesn't just showcase her as a character in crisis. It highlights her as a pivotal force capable of altering the story in ways that nobody, not even Tommy, could fully anticipate. This duality, her vulnerability, and her power creates a suspenseful atmosphere where the audience is constantly guessing, analyzing, and theorizing about what might happen next. Meanwhile, Tommy's role is equally complex. Even with his strategic brilliance, he is forced to adapt to circumstances that are beyond pure logic. Cami's unpredictability, the fragile structure of his new company, and the external pressures of competitors and past adversaries create a scenario where success is never guaranteed. Each step forward requires him to anticipate not only the moves of others in the corporate world but also the emotional reactions of those closest to him. Season 3 heightens tension by showing that, while Tommy can navigate business risks with expertise, human emotion remains the wild-card factor that is impossible to fully control. The audience is left in suspense because every decision, from high-stakes negotiations to personal conversations, could tip the balance, creating either a moment of triumph or a catastrophic setback. Finally, Section 3 underscores the fragility of balance in a world dominated by ambition, loyalty, and emotional stakes. Cami's breaking point is central, but it's not the only factor creating suspense. The interactions between characters, the looming threats from external forces, and the unresolved tensions from past seasons all combine to create a landscape of uncertainty. Season 3 is about watching these forces collide in unpredictable ways, where each character's choices, motivations, and reactions have the potential to ripple across the narrative. Cami stands at the center of this storm, and as she reaches the limits of her patience and endurance, viewers are forced to anticipate a turning point that could redefine relationships, business, and the overall trajectory of the story. Every moment builds toward an inevitable confrontation, and the suspense comes from the question of whether she will act destructively, strategically, or in a way that surprises even those closest to her. Season 3 promises that no decision is safe, no alliance guaranteed, and no character immune to the consequences of Cami's breaking point. While Cami's breaking point looms large, the rest of the cast is navigating a web of tension that's just as high, making Season 3 feel like every move could ignite a chain reaction. Tommy's new company is ambitious, but starting fresh has exposed vulnerabilities that were hidden when MTEX provided both cover and resources. Cooper stepping in as president and the rest of the team assuming critical roles creates a strong front. But perfection is always temporary. Each decision now carries immediate consequences, and Cami's unpredictable emotional state hangs over every meeting, negotiation, and interaction like a ticking time bomb. What's terrifying and compelling is that even small choices could trigger unexpected fallout. If she acts out of anger, desperation, or even a desire for control, Tommy's plans, the company's foundation, and relationships that took years to build could unravel in an instant. This constant tension between strategy and human emotion drives the suspense of Season 3, keeping viewers on edge, wondering what will happen the moment Cami reaches the edge of her patience. Season 3 also expands on the personal stakes behind every business decision. Cami isn't just a character in conflict with Tommy. She represents the emotional volatility that can upend even the most calculated plans. Her grief, anger, and sense of betrayal color every interaction, making her influence unpredictable. Meanwhile, the relationships around her, especially Cooper and Ariana's, are moving toward milestones that feel both hopeful and fragile. Their attempts to establish stability are shadowed by lingering threats and past trauma, and any disruption, whether from Cami external adversaries or internal disagreements, could undo the progress they've made. Tommy's relationship with Angela, now rekindled and heading toward marriage, adds another layer of unpredictability. Their dynamic is chaotic, grounded in a history of unresolved tension and deep emotional investment, and Cami's actions could intersect in ways that neither party anticipates. Season 3 thrives on this intersection of personal and professional stakes, creating an environment where suspense isn't just built on plot twists, it's built on emotional pressure, character psychology, and the consequences of human unpredictability. The suspense deepens because Season 3 doesn't allow any character to operate in isolation. Every choice Cami makes interacts with multiple storylines, influencing alliances, trust, and the distribution of power. Her breaking point has implications far beyond her personal arc, challenges the stability of Tommy's company, the trajectory of Cooper and Ariana's relationship, and the strategic positioning of Nate, Rebecca, and the rest of the team. Even seemingly minor decisions could ripple outward, creating outcomes that are completely unforeseen. Season 3 emphasizes the fragility of balance, showing that even the strongest plans can be undone by emotional complexity and human error. The audience is left with a sense of anticipation, knowing that the next move could either solidify the foundations of Tommy's new venture or dismantle it completely. Cami's emotional journey in this season is as compelling as the external conflicts she faces. She has been pushed to her limits, and the show explores how grief, betrayal, and frustration can shape decisions that are both unpredictable and consequential. Her breaking point isn't a single moment. It's a culmination of everything she has experienced and endured. That cumulative tension drives suspense, keeping viewers engaged because they know her actions will change everything, not just for herself but for everyone connected to her. The brilliance of Season 3 is in showing how interconnected all these storylines are. Personal struggles, professional stakes, and unresolved threats all collide, with Cami at the center of it all. The audience is constantly questioning, will she act strategically, lash out impulsively, or step back entirely? And that uncertainty is what makes every scene pulse with tension. Finally, Section 4 highlights how Season 3 thrives on unpredictability and emotional complexity. The external threats rival companies, lingering adversaries, and business challenges intersect with internal pressures, like grief, broken trust, and unresolved relationships. Cami is at the core of this storm, and her breaking point sets the tone for the entire season. Each character's choices and reactions are influenced by her, creating a narrative landscape where suspense isn't just about the next twist, it's about the emotional stakes, the human consequences, and the delicate balance of power, loyalty, and ambition. The tension is constant because the audience knows that no one is immune. No plan is guaranteed, and a single misstep could change everything. Season 3 is about watching these forces collide in unpredictable ways, with Cami as the catalyst whose actions will ultimately define the direction of the story and the fate of everyone involved. As Season 3 reaches its critical moments, the consequences of Cami's breaking point become impossible to ignore. Every choice she makes now has the potential to redefine the story completely. Her emotional volatility is no longer contained, it interacts directly with Tommy's carefully constructed plans, the fragile balance of his new company, and the personal lives of everyone around her. The suspense in this season is built not just on what she does, but on the uncertainty of timing, intensity, and impact. One impulsive decision could unravel alliances, disrupt high-stakes deals, or even put lives at risk. The audience is drawn into this tension because every moment feels like a ticking clock. Will she act, and if so, how? Her breaking point is the catalyst that transforms Season 3 from a story about rebuilding into a story about reckoning, forcing every character to confront the fragility of their relationships, ambitions, and personal boundaries. Tommy, for all his strategic brilliance, faces an unprecedented challenge. His new company, which seemed like a beacon of hope and control at the end of Season 2, now exists in a world where trust is fragile, emotions run high, and the unpredictability of human behavior is the greatest risk of all. Cooper and Ariana, despite their desire for stability, are navigating the shadows of unresolved threats and past trauma, making their path forward far from certain. Even successful plans can be disrupted by unexpected emotional reactions. And in Cami's case, that possibility is magnified by the intensity of her grief, frustration, and anger. Season 3 explores the tension between calculated strategy and uncontrollable emotion, forcing viewers to anticipate every decision, every reaction, and every intersection of character paths with a heightened sense of suspense. The stakes extend beyond business and personal relationships. They reach into identity, loyalty, and survival. Cami's breaking point isn't just about revenge or frustration, it's about reclaiming control over her life and defining her role in a story that has repeatedly tested her resilience. Her decisions will determine not only her own path but the fates of Tommy, Cooper, Ariana, Nate, Rebecca, and everyone else entangled in this intricate web of ambition, loyalty, and risk. The suspense is amplified because viewers know that the outcome is uncertain. Each character is vulnerable in unique ways, and the convergence of past trauma, unresolved conflicts, and professional pressure creates a landscape where even small actions can have monumental consequences. Season 3 uses this dynamic to keep the audience engaged, tense, and constantly questioning what will happen next, beyond the immediate conflicts. Season 3 is a study in how personal stakes intersect with professional ambitions. Tommy's ability to navigate high-stakes business ventures, Cami's emotional turbulence, and the evolving relationships of the supporting cast all collide to create a narrative that feels unpredictable and alive. The show thrives on the tension between what the characters plan and what the characters feel, showing that no strategy can fully account for human complexity. Cami's breaking point is central to this, making her actions the fulcrum on which the season balances. Whether she chooses to act destructively, seek reconciliation, or pursue her own agenda independently, the consequences will ripple across every storyline, reshaping alliances, power structures, and personal bonds in ways that keep viewers on the edge of their seats. Finally, Season 3 promises that nothing will remain the same. Cami's breaking point is more than a personal crisis, it's the narrative pivot around which the entire season revolves. Every relationship, every business decision, and every personal goal is impacted by the uncertainty of her next move. The suspense comes from the tension between what viewers expect and what might actually happen, between strategy and emotion, ambition and vulnerability. Season 3 of Landman is not just about rebuilding, it's about confronting consequences, facing emotional limits, and witnessing the unpredictable outcomes of choices made under immense pressure. Cami stands at the center of it all, and as the season unfolds, one thing becomes clear: no decision is safe, no alliance guaranteed, and the fallout from her breaking point will reverberate across every aspect of this world. For viewers, that means every episode pulses with suspense. Every scene carries weight, and every character's fate hangs in the balance, making Season 3 an unforgettable ride from start to finish. Everything in Landman seemed like it was finally settling down, but appearances are always deceiving. Cami has reached her breaking point. The losses, betrayals, and the weight of impossible choices have pushed her to a limit that even the most loyal fans of the show might not have expected. In Season 3, her decisions are about to shake everything Tommy has worked for, disrupt the fragile alliances that have kept MTEX's chaos at bay, and turn personal relationships upside down. The question is no longer whether Cami will act, but how, and the consequences of her breaking point will ripple through every corner of the story. One thing is certain: no one will be the same after this. Season 3 opens with a sense of tension that feels almost tangible, like the calm before a storm that you know is going to hit hard. Cami's journey has always been complicated: her loyalty to MTEX, her grief over Monty, and her struggle to trust those around her have been building quietly, almost invisibly, until now. The finale of Season 2 hinted at closure, but, in reality, it was just the prelude to a much darker, more emotional chapter. Cami has been holding on to something that might no longer exist, clinging to memories and ideals that are slipping through her fingers, and it's becoming painfully clear that she can't carry it all anymore. Her emotional state is fragile, layered with grief, frustration, and the sense that every decision she makes could have irreversible consequences. And now, with Tommy's new company already in motion, Cami is staring at a reality that challenges everything she's believed about loyalty, trust, and the people around her. Her perspective is no longer just shaped by business decisions, driven by the emotional toll of what she's lost and the fear of being left behind once again. This isn't just about MTEX anymore. It's about Cami herself, her role in the story, and the choices that will define her character going forward. Every interaction she has with Tommy, every revelation about his plans, every hint of independence or success he achieves, adds pressure, making it harder for her to know who she can trust. The tension between them isn't just professional, it's personal, and the show is poised to explore that depth in a way that will leave audiences holding their breath. She's been through betrayal before, and the scars it left haven't healed, they've only intensified. Now, with the stakes higher than ever, Cami faces the ultimate question: does she act impulsively out of anger and desperation? Or does she find a way to navigate this new reality